NHL game review of the night: Penguins versus Golden Knights. The Vegas won this one 7-3. But before we get to the scoring here, let's go over some notes for both teams coming into this game. And mind you, this game was on Saturday, January 19th. Going into this game, Sidney Crosby for Pittsburgh had 20 goals and 36 assists for 56 points, leading his team. And for Vegas, the point leader is right wing Alex Tuch going into this game with 15 goals and 22 assists and 37 points. Back to the Penguins for a second. Some notes. Zach Aston-Reese is still injured with an upper body injury. He's on the IR, as is Justin Schultz, who's coming off of a fractured lower left leg. I know he's been skating lately, so I think after the All-Star break, there's a very good chance he'll probably be back. Now, Pittsburgh is hanging on to the last wild card spot in the East. They're about 4 points above the Sabres right now with a game in hand. Coming into this game, they were 7-3-0 in their last 10, and their last win coming off of Arizona, the Arizona Coyotes, yesterday. So they're playing back-to-back games now coming in against Vegas. For the Golden Knights, they last played on Tuesday. So they've had quite a lot amount of time to rest. That's when they lost to the Jets 4-1. They're 8-2-0 in their last 10 coming into this game, and their injuries consist of Malcolm Subban, who's on the IR with an undisclosed injury. There's a lot of them, undisclosed injuries here. Right wing Riley Smith with another undisclosed injury, who's on the IR. Then there's William. I believe Riley Smith is the right wing on the first line. Then there's William Carrier, who's the fourth line left winger there. Who is still, I think, after he's been out for like 2 weeks with an illness, and he's on the IR. 2 weeks with an illness. I thought it might be a flu or something, but like 2 weeks or so, and he still leads the league in hits too. That's the hilarious thing about it all. And then, of course, one of the most important injury guys in the injury reserve here is center Eric Haula, who last season centered the second line for Vegas. And then he stepped in while Paul Stastny was hurt as well, but he regularly would be playing third line center duties. He's out with another undisclosed injury. So let's get to the scoreboard here. First period, Pittsburgh gets the show started. Kessel gets his 20th of the season, assisted by Mata and Malkin. What can I say about this one? The pass to Kessel was in tight, in slot, and it goes off the shaft of his stick and flutters sort of up and over Fleury's shoulder, I want to say. It was kind of lucky, but he worked hard to get it and to go to the net because he had a Vegas player kind of strapped all over him, and he still scored. So 1-0 Pittsburgh, and then Vegas just tears Pittsburgh apart for the rest of the period here. Theodore gets his 6th of the season on the power play, assisted by Schmidt and Stastny. What can I say about this one? This was a one-timer slap shot from the top of the right circle that goes off the bar and in. You don't see too many slap shot goals anymore from the defensemen, so and this one was kind of pretty. Then Vegas goes ahead 2-0. A goal by Pacioretty gets his 13th of the season, assisted by Stastny and Tuch. Stastny gets his second point of the night already. This was a deflection slot high in the slot that goes off a leg and right to Pacioretty at the side of the net, who just buries it. So this was what we thought was a shot, not a pass. Went off a Pittsburgh player's leg right to Pacioretty, and then he had the wide cage to put it in. Then there's English. Then the Golden Knights go ahead 3-1 on a goal from Lindbergh. Gets a second of the season, assisted by Carpenter and Eakin. This goal was scored 43 seconds later after that last one, and it was basically a 2-on-1 that ended up in the net. And at this point on, after that second Golden Knights goal, Pittsburgh Penguin the defense was just pinching it really inopportune times because there was a lot of 2-on-1s or just plain breakaways. So DeSmith actually stopped quite a few high danger chances, especially at the end of that third. And this is probably what sunk Pittsburgh for the most part towards the end of the game. Because somewhere in here, Malkin also had a goal that was called back because they said there was a kicking motion involved. It was a slight kicking motion, but it was still a kicking motion. I dropped my pointer here. There we go. Moving on to the second period. Pittsburgh shows some life. Simone gets a 7th of the season by Gensel and Dumoulin. And this was special because it was 16 seconds into the second period when this was scored. Pittsburgh just came out like gangbusters here. I almost said something else. It was just it was basically a beautiful tic-tac-toe pass and play that just caught Vegas really off guard to begin the period. They weren't ready. Pittsburgh was. Then Crosby ties up the game right afterwards. His 21st goal of the season, assisted by Gensel, gets a second point of the night, and Letang. This one was a real pretty goal. This was probably one of the 2 goals you should go check out online tonight because this was a gorgeous one. Now this, where am I? Gensel. He's behind the net. He's got a Golden Knight player strapped all over him. So he makes a backhand no look pass straight into the slot area. And Fleury's watching him. He's got his head turned around, looking at the back of his net, looking at the play, sees the pass go up, and before his head fully comes around, Crosby's there, and there's no Golden Knight anywhere around him, and gets the puck onto a stick and off before Fleury's got a chance to really get set, and the puck goes in between under his arm and into the net. Beautiful goal. Then Vegas takes over again. Yeah, that was too bad. It was a lot of back and forth here. I mean, overall, this was just a real exciting game to watch. But Marchessault gets the go-ahead goal to make it, and the game-winning goal at this point, to make it 4-3 on an unassisted goal, his 15th of the season. This was kind of sad. I felt bad for Pittsburgh. This was probably the only goal you could probably really blame on DeSmith. Funny enough, I mean, there was one empty netter in this game, and I know there were still 6 scores scored on him. But really, that's kind of the only one you could fully put the blame on him for. This was a one-on-one race for the puck that was going into Pittsburgh zone, and Smith came out to play it. He shot it to the side, off the boards, right, and it was collected by Marchessault. Wrong guy to give it away to, who just, takes a couple of strides and then just snipes a real nice shot. DeSmith is slightly screened on it, but he's not set. He's still skating back to get back into position after coming out to play that puck. And, it just goes in. A really nice shot. And if DeSmith doesn't go to skate out to get that puck, the Pittsburgh Penguin player probably would have gotten it anyways. And he would have had a better chance at the shot. So, or there wouldn't have been any shot. Next up, then Vegas goes ahead 5-3. Another goal by Marchessault, his 2nd of the season, 16th of the season, 2nd of the game, assisted by Carlson and Miller. This was the 5-3 goal. This was seconds later after his other goal too. Vegas kind of did that twice in this game, so did Pittsburgh. But this was on a hard-fought Vegas forecheck. Marchessault gets the puck in the slot and kind of crosses in front of the net forehand. He doesn't have a shot, stops, kind of turns around and comes back, kind of does this little Marner stop and start, little deke, slippery kind of move, and then puts it in past DeSmith on the backhand. Another really beautiful goal. That's the other one I was talking about that you should go check out online or see the highlight from. Then that's it for the second period. I didn't even talk about the shots. First period, Vegas outshot Pittsburgh 15-12, and in the second, Pittsburgh outshot Vegas 15-11. Third period, then we have Carlson gets his second point of the night, his first goal of the game, his 16th of the season, assisted by Miller, who also gets his second point of the night. This was DeSmith had no chance on this. It was a tip-in by Carlson, who was screened by two of his own players, really, on the play, and they were skating by just at that same time, and he saw nothing. He didn't say anything. And of course, this last one here, Marchessault gets the hat trick on an empty net goal, his 17th of the season, unassisted, and that's the game. Pittsburgh outshoots Vegas 10-9. 3 stars of the game. Number 3 are Marc-Andre Fleury with 34 saves. Number 2 is William Karlsson with 1 goal and 1 assist and 15:46 of ice time. And the first star is Jonathan Marchessault with 3 goals and 17:28 of ice time. Your goaltenders, DeSmith makes 28 saves on 34 shots with a .824 save percentage on the night. He gets the loss, and his record is now 12-9-4. Fleury saves 34 of 37 with a .919 save percentage. And this win brings him up to 27-12-4. I think he clears everyone by, in terms of wins overall by goalie, by maybe 4, maybe even 5. It's unbelievable. There were some really amazing saves. This was I know it was a high-scoring game, but there were some amazing saves by both goaltenders in this game. If you watch any review of anything, go check this game out. On the power play, the Penguins go 0 for 2. The Knights go 1 for 2. Hits are Pittsburgh 36-31 over the Knights. Face-offs, ditto Pittsburgh 34-32 over the Knights. In their last 10 games, the Penguins are now 6-4-0, this being their first loss of that stretch, and Vegas is now 8-2-0, this being their first win of that one. Pittsburgh's record is now 26-15-6 with 58 points. They have that last wild card spot. As I mentioned earlier, they're 4 points up on Buffalo, who's chasing them. And then I ran out of magnets here. The Golden Knights are now 29-17-4 with 62 points. They're 10 points clear of any of the wild card teams. So they're in a good position, but they're still third in the Pacific because it's the most competitive in the West, behind Calgary, who's first, and then San Jose, and then it's Vegas, and they're 7 points behind Calgary at the moment. And I want to say Vegas, I think, is the team that's played the most games this season so far. Penguins' next game is versus New Jersey on Monday, January 28th. Yeah, they don't play for over a week from the time of this video. That's 8 days from now. I think, the biggest vacation. That's going to be that's going to be a nice long break for them, especially their star players, the whole team, really. Justin Schultz should be back, as I mentioned earlier, by that time. So, yeah. Vegas Knights' next game is versus the Minnesota Wild on Monday, January 21st. Minnesota has got that last wild card spot in the West. So they're going to be hungry for this game for sure. Jersey is one of the bottom 3 teams in the East right now. I want to say the others are Ottawa and Detroit. Tomorrow's games, Sunday, January 10th, there are 5 of them. The Washington Capitals versus the Chicago Blackhawks. Chicago's not a give-me game anymore, especially if they play Delia in net, who's that guy they brought up from the AHL, who's been playing very, very well. Washington definitely cannot take a snooze on this one with both Columbus and the Islanders. The Islanders now lead the Metro. Isn't that nuts? And let's talk about that next game, because it's Anaheim, who now has 2 wins in a row after coming off like an 11 or 12 game losing streak, and who still has a chance at making their playoffs. Anaheim is still tied with Minnesota with 51 points. Minnesota having the last wild card spot, but Minnesota has more wins, so that has bumped Anaheim out, and they're still I can't believe they're still in the playoff picture. It's amazing. Unbelievable. But Anaheim is also playing a back-to-back game. Anaheim and Edmonton are playing back-to-back games, and they're going into the Islanders tonight. Yep, maybe start a new losing record for the Ducks here. Because that looks like, because the Islanders have been really hot of late. They're getting some fantastic goaltending, not to mention Barry Trotz has got that team playing really well. New York Islanders lose their captain, arguably their best player, and they've got the same amount of points as the Toronto Maple Leafs right now, as of this video. Toronto plays tomorrow against Arizona, but as of right now, they've got unbelievable. Just, yeah. Next game, we have the Detroit Red Wings, who are one of the three teams in last place in the East right now, facing off Vancouver, who's still within striking distance of a wild card spot. And they should be getting Pettersson back soon. I don't know if he'll be back for this game yet, but it's a possibility. Then, of course, Arizona versus Toronto Maple Leafs. Maple Leafs have had a bad stretch since the new year, really. Some player just snake bit in terms of scoring for a lot of their high scoring players. They beat the Lightning on Thursday, and then they lost to Florida the next day. I know it's back-to-back games, but their backup goaltender Garrett Sparks played well, and the compete wasn't there. The focus wasn't there either. Players like William Nylander got caught on certain plays, on goals. Anyway, I'm not going to go deeper down the rabbit hole there. The Coyotes are kind of in limbo right now. I think I think they're maybe 6 or 7 points out of a wild card spot, but I don't know. I just don't have the way they're scoring, which they're not. I just don't feel that playoff spot is in the picture for them. The last game of the day there is the Carolina Hurricanes versus the Edmonton Oilers. Carolina in Edmonton. However, Edmonton, as I mentioned, is playing back-to-back games. I think Carolina's coming off 2 losses in a row as well, so that could be interesting. This could be the game of the night right here, because Edmonton's desperate to get in that wild card spot. I think they're only 2 or so points out. Or it could be even the Chicago-Washington game. You never know. Chicago's playing some good games lately. And if Anaheim actually shows up to this game, it could be this one. Could be any of these, really. Maybe Thatcher Demenko might play against Detroit. Possibly. In any case, this is long enough. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, hit that like button. If you really liked it, smash that subscribe button if you haven't already. And hey, if you happen to have any Hockey Geek friends, please don't feel shy about sharing. Thanks again, and I'll see you soon.